Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we have an absolutely massive news video to go over, which includes things like a sequel to Batman Arkham Shadow, more leaks and rumors for the Valve deckard, or should I say the Steam frame. There's a massive update for Blade and Sorcery, a AAA style shooter inspired by Onward, plus so much more to go over. Now there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead. But let's start things off like normal with the check-in, and that's what have I been up to in the VR world. Well, I'm going away again this week, but I'm going to be doing live demos of our upcoming title from Noetic Realms. I'm absolutely pumped for that. And soon, I promise guys, we will be showing you something. I promise, the devlogs will continue. On top of that, I'm also trying to make my way through the Dungeons of Eternity PC version. Just trying to get a feel for that. There's no way I'm going to make it through that before it releases, but I'm familiar with that game. I just want to see the upgrades in the PC version. And I'm also playing through Of Lies and Rain. So if you guys want any coverage on that, please let me know down in the comments right now. But I'm going fast as possible because there's a ton to cover. So let's just move into this week's new releases. Now, I've already mentioned two of those releases, so let's start there with Dungeons of Eternity. This is a 4-person co-op dungeon crawler that previously released on the Meta Quest, has absolutely fantastic reviews, and it's actually one of my favorite VR games. There's some excellent physics-based combat, a robust leveling system, some incredible fantasy creatures to fight against, and finally, multiple different level objectives that help to keep each run exciting and new. Now, I've previously spent a lot of time discussing this game, and I'll just finish by saying if you're a pcvr gamer, and I'll just finish by saying if you're into fantasy-based co-op dungeon crawlers, definitely check this game out. Now, the next new release is Of Lies and Rain. This is a story-driven first-person shooter set in a dystopian future where AI has taken over the world, and now humanity's survival relies on you. The fight for the future takes place on the edge of the virtual and real worlds, and it looks like we have another solid title on our hands with this one. Now, speaking of solid titles, we're also getting a demo for Battle Group VR 2 this week. Now, if you never played the original game, it was an incredible real-time strategy title that had you controlling a small fleet of ships. There was an absolutely massive amount of customization, ship captains that would level up and get special abilities, a full single-player campaign, online multiplayer battles, insane graphics, and even voice controls. When it comes to VR titles, this one was way ahead of its time, and it feels like it never got the credit it deserved, so I hope the sequel is even better and gets that recognition. And last up in this week's new releases, Surviving Mars Pioneer is making its way onto the PlayStation VR 2. Now, I previously enjoyed this title on the Meta Quest and felt it was a very solid survival game, similar to something like Subnautica, except the surface of Mars is a much more desolate place. Now, that did leave something to be desired in the graphics department, but I expect the PlayStation VR 2 version will rectify that. So if you're into chill survival VR games, I recommend you check this one out. But now let's move into the game updates where things get even better. For the Batman Arkham Shadow fans, it looks like we're getting a sequel, as the voice actor for Commissioner Gordon, Max Rolston, may have accidentally spilt the beans during a recent interview. When asked about how voice acting differs per game, his exact quote was as follows: "In the Blade Runner game, I was a voiceover, but for Spider-Man, I do complete motion capture, voice, and everything. Same thing with the Batman Arkham Shadow VR game. We're about to start another one of those. I play Commissioner Gordon." So it does indeed sound like he accidentally spilled the beans, and a sequel should be on the way. Now, next up, we also got a massive update to Blade and Sorcery. The Raptor update is part of a series of free updates that will continue to the end of 2026, routinely adding new weapons, armor, and game features. It's expected to release sometime in October, and will include a series of Eastern Asian-inspired weapons and armor. So very soon, weapons like the Katana, Sais, and Shurikens will officially be in this game, and you won't need any mods to access them. There's also a lot more exotic weapons to check out, and even a magical staff that acts like a flamethrower. Now, another really cool update of information that we got directly from the Baron himself is the fact that we should soon be able to see much more advanced PC Blade and Sorcery mods make its way down to Nomad. Without going into too much detail, since Blade and Sorcery Nomad is on the Quest, there was no real way to give modders scripting access, but it looks like the team at Warp Prog have been able to solve that issue, and mods should get so much better on the Meta Quest. And last up, we got an announcement trailer for a Falcon VR, which claims to be a AAA tactical shooter inspired by Onward. Now, the vast majority of this looks like a cinematic trailer, so that's just CGI. However, if you watch closely, it looks like they did sneak a little bit of gameplay footage in there, as there's a label that says this is pre-alpha and subject to change. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the trailer looks absolutely insane. I really need to see some gameplay before I get hyped. Now, they're planning to deliver next-gen visuals with the help of the Unreal Engine and only targeting pcvr, but unless they know something that I don't, how could they possibly have a near AAA budget for a platform that can never deliver that return? So things aren't really adding up right now, but I'm still excited and I'll keep an eye on this one. But now let's get to the big story, those juicy leaks and rumors about the Steam frame and even Half-Life 3. So sometime last week, all of my For You pages and the websites I go to and my Google search recommendations started blowing up with information about Valve filing a new patent for the Steam frame, or data miners are seeing lots of changes all of a sudden, more codes being implemented, and then even Tyler McVicker started talking about Half-Life 3, or HLX, which is potentially a separate project. We'll get back to that. Regardless, everything started blowing up, and I like to read multiple different sites, get the biggest picture I can, and generally when there's one, big announcement, in the next few days you get a series more. So I've went through all that information, read a ton of websites, looked at Bradley's information, popped all around, and yeah, it does look like Valve is gearing up to put out the deckard, or now it's being called the Steam frame. I'm going to just give you all the leaks and rumors, because no data miner or even some people at Valve have all the answers. No one knows the exact date it's releasing. No one knows exactly what's going to be included, because things can change up into the very end, except for really hardware. That's settled. But it looks like we are getting a standalone headset that will be dedicated to spatial computing. That sounds like crap, but it's not. It's going to be there for pass-through. It's going to be there for playing your flat screen games like a Steam Deck on your head. And it's also going to work for PCVR, but be a mobile headset. Now, the controllers, we've seen some potential leaks. They're much closer to what you get from a regular gamepad, making them ideal for Steam games, Steam flat games. It also looks like, if you go through all the leaks, they would still support base stations without a PC. So if you wanted to do, let's say, VR chat with full body tracking from this headset without a PC, looks like that might be an option. Now, additionally, the connection to the PC is supposedly a Wi-Fi 6E dongle that they developed. We know that could work really well. Wi-Fi 6E gives enough bandwidth. It doesn't have signal interference. It works quite well. Now, let's just hope it's better than the dongle Meta tried to release with TP-Link years ago. But there's no reason why it shouldn't function quite well. So you get wireless PCVR gaming, flat gaming. It kind of works like a Steam Deck on your face. It's going to be running Linux and modified version of SteamOS apparently. And I think we're going to get an announcement before the end of the year. But definitely don't quote me on that one. At this point, between all of these leaks and rumors and everything I've personally heard internally, I'm insanely pumped for this headset. It's so hard not to expect magic from Valve, especially after the Index and Half-Life Alyx. And that was today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.